The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're listening to The Gaming Outsider. I guess you've got balls of steel.
What's happening, Gaming Outsiders? On this week's episode, Zack is back, and he and Alyssa join me as we attempt to define exactly what it means to be a gamer. In news, Lance Reddick sadly passed away, and we'll discuss his contributions to video games. You'll also hear Zack's impressions of DC's Justice League Cosmic Chaos, and Alyssa checked out Hotel Renovator. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. Today is Sunday, March 19th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, a guy that pulled on Aaron Rodgers this week and cut himself off from the rest of the world, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up?
Whilst I don't understand the reference, yes, I did disappear into the woods.
Yeah.
What did Aaron Rodgers do?
Aaron Rodgers locked himself up in a dark room for 4 days straight to contemplate his future in the NFL. True story.
See if you want to hang out with the Jets.
Yeah, which apparently he does. So more on that later. But also joining us, Miss Alyssa White. How are you doing?
Much better now that I'm with two of my favorite people ever.
Aw, look at that.
Yeah.
I am excited to have the gang back together. Zack, you were gone just 1 week, and it feels like a month.
I know.
Just saying.
I missed you both so much.
Yeah. You know, you don't realize how many hours are in the day until you get rid of all technology again.
Oh, yeah, you just cut yourself off completely, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I brought as I'll talk about later, I brought some games with me, but I mostly just read and walked around the woods. But it was just like without the social media distraction, you gain so many hours of your life back.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
I did that when I was on a cruise because we didn't have any technology, so I just kept my cell phone, in the safe in my cabin. And yeah, days seem a lot longer.
Oh, yeah, when we have power outages here, which happen somewhat, or not power outages, but like Wi-Fi outages.
Mm-hmm.
They happen a little more frequently now. It's kind of nice. Like, I'll complain about it, but then I'm like, you know what? I can get reading done, and I could just sit in peace.
Yeah, it reminds me of the end of the movie The Cable Guy, which is, I know, a weird, random reference right now, but remember that movie where, like, he falls on the on the radio or the TV antenna?
Yeah,
and all the TV goes out in the city, and it forces everybody to, like, talk to each other and read a book, and,
terrible
like that.
I gotta say, my quote, which I think is going to be, like, a new thing now. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh.
Every time someone mentions a movie, I'm like, I haven't seen it.
Well, you better get it. You'll have something new to add to your Letterboxd 4.
That is true, yes.
Cable Guy.
It is on Hulu, I believe. So
it's on
actually
Hulu?
just
Okay.
recently rewatched it. But anyway, speaking of good news, we still have our giveaway available for Resident Evil 4, which Zack is going to be reviewing on PS5. He's going to be getting sent a copy, and the winner of that will receive it after he's finished the game. So there is a link in the show notes.
If other establishments' reviews are any indication, you're in for a treat. Although that shouldn't be surprising because Resident Evil 4 was already great.
Yeah, it seems like reviews were really early for this one.
A week early, yeah.
I mean, they had to have had it. They had to have it earlier than that to beat it, right?
Sure, yeah.
So
some big balls energy from old Capcom there.
Yeah, it's always like they don't give out reviews for some games when they're not sure how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then
we've been there.
Yeah, we've been there for sure. But if you'd like a chance to win that, I think you have to go back and listen to one of our previous episodes to be able to answer a question, because we want to make sure that just dedicated listeners are actually in the running for the game. But the link is in the show notes if you want to do that. Also, last week was a little bit different episode. Zack was out of town. And I just decided to go ahead and put it on a regular feed. But if you get a chance, please check out my interview with Roger Sharp, the man who saved pinball. It was such a fun interview. I got to talk to him for like an hour and 20 minutes, and it just kind of made my year. So if you get a chance, please check that out. It's a really good time.
If you're a fan of Scott's happiness and golden retriever energy, it is locked
why
and
would
loaded
you not
on that
be?
episode. He is so giddy on that episode.
I tried to contain myself, but I think the description I put in the notes was that you could practically hear me grinning from ear to ear, and I feel like that's how I felt the entire time. I was literally recording it, and you know how you can see your face on our little application here. I caught myself just smiling. Like I don't normally just sit here and smile, but I was just like, like through that. I'm like, I'm such a dork right now. But yeah, I think there's a point in the episode where I say that my co-hosts are making fun of me right now too. So you'll have to listen close to that one. But anyway, let's get into some of the games we've been catching up on. Zach, it looks like you were on a Metroid kick like I am.
Yeah, the year of Metroid continues. I booted up Metroid Fusion on the old GBA on Switch, which is just such a cool thing. And in fact, I was playing a little bit of it right before we jumped on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember when you texted me, you were just excited that you can actually play that game on a television now.
Yeah, it's really weird playing a GBA game that blown up because I never had the. Because I think the GameCube maybe had something where you could play GBA games on a TV or something.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I never participated. Yeah, this game is really cool. It is. It has some like old school gamer BS every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one part in particular, Scott, you might remember, where you get stuck in between these two like areas, but you can't jump out of it because it's too high. You just have to bomb the floor randomly, and it just makes a pillar pop up out of nowhere.
Yes,
but there's no indication at all that exists.
I mean, it's just kind of a Metroid thing. They do that in Super Metroid as well.
I know. It's total old school crap.
But I kind of like that though, because I mean, going through and I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I just finished Super Metroid for the umpteenth time,
right?
And it's the same thing. And going through and replaying that game, you realize how little they held your hand in those games. And there's moments where like you just have to bomb a random wall again with no indication,
no different texture at all, no indication. Yeah, you just have to bomb it.
And it's not just like a bonus thing. It's like that's the way to go. Right. You know what I mean? Like.
I love it for secrets. It just feels a little mean for main path. It feels a little bit like we only have a 4-hour game here. How can we stump somebody for 10 minutes?
Sure, but it's also 10 minutes.
I understand.
I'm going to make a
insult your baby. I'm sorry.
No, you're not insulting my baby. I'm going to make a bold statement after just finishing Fusion and after finishing Super Metroid. I mean, literally like an hour ago. Mm-hmm. I think Fusion's a better game. I know that's somewhat sacrilege to say, but
does that mean like it's more of your favorite, or does it just mean it's better made?
I think it's better made.
Yeah,
I would probably say that Super Metroid probably still is a personal favorite, just because the ending of that as a kid was just something I had never seen before.
Of course, I understand.
It was so good, so unexpected, and think of just how emotional. I know it's weird to see it be emotional about
with the baby
what happens.
Metroid.
Yeah. I assumed that Alyssa hadn't played the Metroid games.
I have not.
I am sorry for the 35-year-old spoiler.
It's okay.
But I mean, think about how emotional we got with that, and there was not a single line of dialogue.
Right.
There was some at the beginning of the game, some typed text that when Samus is talking to you to tell you like what's happened so far, but in that emotional scene, not a word spoken. Right. It's just stuff happening on the screen. You have to kind of figure it out, and it was just so well done.
I'm actually surprised playing Metroid Fusion how much dialogue there is for a Metroid game.
Yeah, like whenever she goes on the elevators for the first time, she has a conversation,
little thoughts, which is kind of cool. It's almost like a little passage of a novel about what she's thinking.
Right, it's cool. Those conversations, those monologue moments, made me want to go play Metroid Other M. Right,
because she talks about Adam, who is a superior officer.
Which at the time wasn't out, right?
Right,
so
yeah.
They kind of like shoehorned that in and then made Other M a prequel, so I didn't have any clue that there was going to be a connection down the road. And apparently Adam is a significant character in Other M, so I actually have a copy coming. Well, sort of. I'm going to MGC in a couple weeks, and one of our vendor friends has a copy, and he's saving it for me. I'm going to continue the year of Metroid, apparently, because I've never... That's a dark spot in my past. So.
Well, many would say it's a dark spot in the franchise's history.
Well, for multiple reasons.
Right. But quick, Metroid Fusion, brilliant. You're absolutely right. What a great game. I love seeing the Samus clone, SAX, walking around and how scary it is every time. Especially when you can like start to move around while she's patrolling.
Right.
And if you cross her path, you're almost guaranteed dead,
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a cool way to you feel like there's a lot of dread in this Metroid game.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
See it too.
I wish I got to play that game now.
I'm still shocked you haven't played that one. That one is hard, man. That's a tough game.
Well, I'm sure I'll find out. It is the year of Metroid. It would only stand to reason I'll find out at some point.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, you guys remember our New Year's resolutions?
Yes.
I have officially played more games for me this year
Yay!
than I have played for review. So I am keeping up with that.
Feels amazing, right?
It feels great.
Yeah.
Just like no pressure, just to play a game just because I want to. I've contemplated going back and playing Link to the Past because I actually haven't played that one in several years. My favorite game of all time. I think it's due for a replay because
it's very good.
It is very good, and it's so nice having it on Switch, man. Like just to be able to pick up my Switch and take it anywhere and play like these games that when I was a kid I had to use a Super Nintendo controller and be tied to a TV with a cord. Now I just pick up this little device and I can play it whenever I want to. It's outstanding.
We'll skip over the fact that A Link to the Past was on GBA.
Did I say Link to the Past? No, Link to the Past was Super Nintendo.
No, I know, but they ported it to Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah.
That's all I was saying. Is that there was a time where you could have it portably. That's all I was trying to say.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, and didn't it have some bonus thing in it? Like
it had four swords.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, what else have you been catching up on besides Metroid?
Well, I also decided to randomly, whilst in my cabin in the woods, play Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, the PSP Grand Theft Auto.
Oh wow!
Because having played so much Red Dead, I was like, let's see what old Rockstar was like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've played this game before, but it is impressive what they could get away with on the PSP back in the day. Especially like all this voiced audio and cutscenes and stuff. It's like how did they get that on that little disc?
On that tiny little disc.
No.
Yeah, those discs are so small. And then the little hard plastic shell. They were fun. But this game is cool. It takes place before Grand Theft Auto 3. Plays Tony Cipriani, who is a mission giver in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fun. It's just the same exact map from the PS2 game. But all the missions seem designed for portable, so they're all like quick. You can get them done in 5 minutes or under.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It's like it's a lot of quick fun. It's hard, like hard in the way that the old Grand Theft Autos were because enemies don't really miss and you die quickly.
Mm.
We all had the full health sheet memorized, I think, in Grand Theft Auto 3. Or at least people of my age did. I don't know.
I've never played Grand Theft Auto 3.
That's an insane thing to say out loud. What?
I've never played the campaign. Me and my cousin, when we'd have sleepovers, she had that game, but we would literally just go around and steal people's cars and run them over and stuff. That was all we did. So,
I mean, that's a huge draw back when it came out. I'm shocked, Scott, that you didn't play it.
You think that's worth a break to seal?
I don't think so. I think if you go back to it now, you just be like, yeah, look, a rudimentary open world. But at the time, it was, earth shattering.
Right. Everyone talked about it. Sure, it was.
Why did you just didn't appeal to you, huh?
Let's see. PS2 would have been what? What year did that come out? 2001?
Correct.
yes.
So it wouldn't have been an issue of still being at home. Like mom not letting me play it. It would have been that.
Your mom wouldn't have been proud of you for banging the hooker and then getting your money back.
Right. Man, that's a great story. I'm trying to think though, like where I was when that, because it didn't come out right out at the launch of PS2, right? It came out later, like 2003 or something.
I want to say 2002.
So I'm not sure. I think I had it in my head that game wasn't much of a game. It was just a crime simulator, and I just didn't have a whole lot of interest in it.
Okay.
And I didn't really get into Grand Theft Auto until 5, actually. I tried 4, and I just wound up spending more time just doing the side stuff, like going on dates and bowling. And
well, that makes sense for your personality because you wouldn't be able to say no to anybody.
Right. That's exactly what it was, man.
Whereas Roman calls up to go bowling, I'm like, no, man, I'm good. Scott would be like, I don't want to, but yeah, I'll be there.
My flaws are showing even 20 years ago.
You can't let down your virtual cousin.
I know. But I did finish 5, which made me feel a little dirty playing that game. There was moments in that game where I was like, ugh.
Where they make you waterboard a dude?
I don't remember. Yeah, there's waterboarding.
Yeah.
I remember hooking up a dude to a car battery.
Yeah, I think it's the same scene.
Just Trevor was a disturbing character
He was, really.
all around. But yeah. So Liberty City Stories is one I've never played for sure.
I haven't either.
I never had a PSP. I wound up getting a PSP. We had this is a weird thing, but like one of the special education teachers at our school when I first started, he had 2 PSPs in his classroom, like for kids to play like as a reward or whatever, and he actually got fired. And so the school knew I played video games and said, "Here, you want them?" And I'm like, "Sure." But they were like so heavily modded, like physically modded. Like they're just like beyond being. I don't even think they were playable. I don't know what he did to those, but
that's why he deserved to get fired.
Yeah.
He was ruining PSPs.
He deserved to get fired.
Oh my god! Well,
anyway,
yeah. Anyway,
I beat a second game this week, a second older game. Joel and CJ and I got together on Friday and actually tied up Gears of War 3.
Shit, yeah.
I haven't finished that game since release. You know, like when those games come out, you just blast through the campaign.
Oh, yeah. I think I beat Gears of War 3 in one sitting.
Right. And then you just play nothing but multiplayer after that with your buddies.
Right.
So I remember the key moments, and I don't want to, again, 20-something-year-old game, spoiling, but that moment, here's what's interesting about this. They've up-resed the game. Like, it's actually I think I mentioned this last week. This is the first game that they've up-resed for the Xbox Series X and S.
Oh, okay.
And it looks outstanding. Except that moment, the cutscene for that moment, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is not up-resed.
Oh, that's
so
weird.
all of a sudden the cutscene
weird.
changes, and it is old school 360 graphics for one of the most pivotal, emotional moments of the entire series.
Yeah.
And it looks like garbage. Like it's just very weird. But
so seeing it has a character sacrifice and has a musical callback, right?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, such a good use of that song.
I mean, that game's great. It's not, it's no Gears of War 2, but it's great.
I will say, I think Gears of War 2 is actually better. I think the Maria moment actually hit me a little harder, weirdly, than Dom, even though because I was more closely attached to Dom.
Yeah.
I think Dom's was just like so. They're not doing that.
Right.
They're not. That's not happening. No.
For me, it was just the second game was a shocking moment, whereas the third one it felt like an acceptance of that character where he is at.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Joel Solinsky, who I'm playing this game with, I've been going through the Gears series with him. CJ pops in when he can, but it's mostly Joel and I. And Joel is absolutely loving it. He's kind of kicking himself for never getting into this series. And he made a bold statement yesterday that he thinks that this is his favorite series ever.
Wow.
Which is crazy to say only 3 games in, but he's having a blast.
I don't fault him. Hey, sometimes you meet your true love. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right into Judgment next, which I remember being the weakest in the series.
I think it is. Yeah.
I think the storytelling was really interesting, and that's the one that takes place before Gears 1, right?
Yes. It's Baird on trial.
Yeah,
and he's giving an accounting of like a mission gone wrong, but the mission changes based on, or like the story changes maybe based on your performance or something like that. Like he's lying during parts of the trial, so I think his voiceover is different than what's happening or something like that.
See, that's clever. That's really clever.
There's something
really
cool
clever.
that happens there, and Baird is the best character, so that works out.
It's hard to beat Coltrane, but yeah, Baird's pretty cool.
Baird's my multiplayer guy for sure every time.
Yeah, I usually go Carmine. I don't know why. Maybe I like to be an easy target. But, was this the one where they had the community vote on whether Carmine lives or dies?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because Carmine lived in this one, or one of the Carmines lived.
Yeah, they like make it seem like he kind of died earlier, right?
Right. Yeah. That's why I was confused. I was like, oh, there. He's like the Kenny of Gears over.
It's almost like the poll was whether or not we throw in this cutscene at the end that shows you he lives.
Right. Yeah.
But it is cool. You're right. They let you. I think you had to like download an avatar or something. Is that how you voted?
Something. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Video games used to be fun, huh?
I know, right?
Where all the money hungry executives showed up.
I mean, if you think about it, though, we're technically halfway through the series, at least as how it exists now, because we have Judgment, and then 4, and then 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we play the first 3. We've got 3 more to go.
You guys play Tactics?
I've actually never played Tactics.
Neither
I'm not a Tactics guy, and that just not why
I wanted to
games.
play it until they put out a trailer with like storyline 65 hours.
Yeah, no.
And I was like,
That's
no,
a
I can't.
long storyline for what the gameplay is.
That's longer than every other Gears storyline combined.
That's a good point.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's utterly ridiculous.
Honestly, that's why I haven't played that new Marvel game that everyone's raving about.
Midnight Suns.
Oh, yeah.
Midnight Suns. Because they're like, it's like an 80-hour campaign or whatever for like an XCOM style game. I don't care how good it is. I don't want to play it for 80 hours. I'm such an old man.
Hey,
dude.
man, I want to play it. Well, yeah, I want to play it, but the dialogue made me want to hurt my... I gotta stop using these negative terms. It made me want to throw a controller at the screen.
There you go.
Yeah. It's just the dialogue just did not seem... Like, Blade starts a book club in that game because he has a crush on Captain Marvel. And he wants to get
Blade?
closer to her. Yeah. And then Captain America... And then Captain America joins the book club because he just wants to read books, but then Blade wants you to help him squeeze Captain America out because he thinks he's hurting his game.
Wait
but
a minute.
Then Captain...
Shouldn't he be concerned about people ice skating uphill?
Yeah, dude. Some MFers are always trying. But it's just like... It's like middle school antics going on in these people are Avengers.
I keep
Blade
hearing reviews about people talking about like throwing surprise birthday parties and stuff for people,
so
and like
ridiculous.
that's like, yeah.
Blade killed Dracula, but he can't tell a girl he has a crush on her?
So
It's
he
pretty
starts
hard
a
to
book
believe.
club.
It's really terrible. Doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
I'm not knocking the game. I haven't played it.
Neither am I.
I'm not
Yeah.
a tactics guy usually anyway, so I tried XCOM. I could not get into it. I
Love
don't know
XCOM.
if the Marvel Coat of Paint would help me or not, but I don't know. I feel like whenever these games go on sale, I'm just moving on to something else. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, so much comes out so fast now.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't keep up. I can't even keep up with my backlog. So
That's why you have to just focus on the games that you want to play for yourself.
I've been doing it, man. You should be
I
proud
know.
of me.
I am
so
I'm
proud of you.
officially, I'm officially on spring break. So tomorrow I'm starting Modern Warfare 2, which is another one that
Right.
I'm not reviewing. I just want to play it just because I want to play it.
And that one should just take you an afternoon.
Yeah. Joel is very excited that I have that installed because he is obsessed with the multiplayer and wants me to play multiplayer with him. I told him, I said, dude, I don't think I'm going to be a good candidate for multiplayer, but I will give it a shot for you. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but
Oh boy, good luck with that.
yeah.
See, but circling back to Gears, to me, I feel like Gears 1 through 3 and Judgment, like those are cordoned off from everything else in my brain. I
Yeah.
feel like 4 and 5 are so different.
I agree. They still
Yeah, they do
feel
still-
like it.
Yeah,
And it was the console jump too, wasn't it? Wasn't 4 the first one that was on Xbox One?
correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it takes place so long after, and yeah, I mean you're right. It plays the same, but it just feels like its own thing to me.
Like in 4, aren't you like not even fighting locusts? You're fighting like robots.
For a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember, yeah, the locusts come in like at some point, but like it's like it was reminding me of Binary Domain. I think was a game where like you're shooting robots and pieces are flying off and stuff. I remember being reminded of that when I played Gears
Yeah.
4, but
I just remember old man Marcus being awesome
yep.
and being a dad and being a bad dad. I remember that.
That's the thing that's really tough playing with somebody that hasn't played it before, like trying to shut up about what's going to happen.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Especially someone who's as well versed with it as you are.
Right. It's like I can't say anything. I gotta let him react and it's fun. It's fun. Anyway, we could talk about Gears all day long, but I want to jump in.
Why not? Except I guess Alyssa has been awfully quiet, and that's no good.
I know. We got to move on so we can hear her lovely voice, and let's do that
Okay.
with the week's news. Couple new trailers to talk about. First off, Atlas Fallen is coming to Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and PC on May 16th. You'll want to check out that trailer. It looks pretty interesting. And also, I don't know how this one slipped under my radar, but Dr. Fetus Mean Meat Machine. It is a puzzle game based on the Super Meat Boy franchise. Coming to Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC in 2023. That's the only time frame we've got. Also, in the news, a new video game publisher is trying an interesting strategy, and that is promoting shorter games. I have a feeling I know who's going to be interested in talking about that. A video game has been approved by the FDA as treatment for ADHD. Sadly, Mr. Lance Reddick has passed away at the age of 60 years old. And lastly, Hyperkin is releasing a new controller for Xbox Series consoles that is modeled after the Xbox 360 controller. Boy, I feel like you both have been gone about the same amount of time, so I'm going to flip a coin, and I'm going to say, Alyssa, which story would you like to talk about?
Since I'm all about mental health, let's talk about the video game that's been approved by the FDA as treatment for ADHD.
Sure. I just thought this was an interesting story as a teacher of children myself.
Mm-hmm.
This game, it's been around for
They've been talking about it for,
It's the first I heard about it, but I was surprised when they were saying like it was when it was developed. But the game is called Endeavor RX. It kind of sounds like a typical tablet game where you move a hovercraft on a river, swiping at targets. But it's meant to be done on a daily basis for 25 minutes. It's a prescription, and I say that in quotes, that your prescription is to play it once per day as therapy for 5 days a week. That's also in conjunction with some different medications like Adderall. But parents have reported an improvement in 70% of cases of kids using this thing. I thought this was a neat idea until I saw the price.
Yeah, the price is steep. And this game, you can only play this game if you have a prescription from a doctor.
Yeah, this isn't like something that you can go download on your tablet on the iTunes store.
Like the pharmacist has to give you a code to the game.
Yeah,
Right.
why actually help people when you can make a buck off of helping them instead?
Especially for the cost, man. Like how much? Like if you buy an app on your phone, remember like we would when Mario, I can't remember what that game was called.
Mario Run.
Mario Run. Thank you. That was $10. And we were like $10.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. God,
for a phone game, $10.
What a great, worth every penny though.
It was. I'm not arguing that. However, this thing is being offered at a discounted rate for $99.
And I don't know if that's per month or a one-time charge.
I'm gonna guess it's per month, right? Because you have to refill your prescription. Right?
And
that's the thing. The normal cost is $450 per month for a tablet-based.
Yeah.
Gotta keep those insurance companies scamming America, don't you?
Which I'm glad there's a game that helps kids with ADHD, but that price point, even the discounted price point, it just seems so ridiculously high. Like, I mean, of course, some families can't afford that. Not even the $99 version. Like, there's just no way a lot of families could afford that.
Right. I mean, and here's the thing. I understand prescribing medication because if you let people just cut loose and, self-diagnose or self-medicate, they're more than likely going to make some mistakes. I mean, doctors make mistakes too, right?
For sure, yeah.
But what is the harm of somebody playing a game like this?
I mean, it's only a 25-minute game. Also.
Right. It's not like you can overdose on playing this game, right? I mean, sure, you could play it for 12 hours straight, but that's the thing that bugs me about this story is here's something clearly that would work. Maybe the prescription is that, maybe it locks you out for a certain amount of time. Maybe it's only meant to be played for the 25 minutes. But again, that's a feature that could be built right into the app.
I know it says it's recommended to play it 5 days a week for 25 minutes per day. So I don't know. Maybe it counts the days you've played it. Maybe locks you out for 2 days. Or I don't know how it works. It's just something that could be beneficial for people is being, kept behind both a prescription and a large price tag.
Right. I was so excited to read this story until I saw the price tag.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
Seriously.
I'm like, oh, this is so good. And then I saw the price. I'm like, oh, just disheartened. Like,
I mean, I would have been mildly annoyed if this thing cost $20, but I would have understood. You know what I mean? Like, now you're telling me $450 a month?
And plus, you're meant to use this in conjunction with medication like Adderall and going to therapy.
Which is more money. Yeah. And I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how this game works outside of what we've talked about here. But I want to know what's the difference between somebody playing this game and playing any other tablet game that you limit yourself to 25 minutes per day. Because I'm only going off the simple description. You're moving a hovercraft on a river, swiping at targets. There's lots of games that do very similar things.
Right. Play Spy Hunter for 25 minutes a day.
There you go. Anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning because I just had like a super cool feeling. All right, Doctors
Right.
are
Yeah.
taking games seriously, and this is, we're seeing positive benefits of playing video games. And of course, we're just going to.
It's an
Paywall.
amazing story until the American healthcare system gets involved.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Zach, are you going to pick the story I assumed you were going to pick?
Whilst I do want to talk about that, I do want to mention Atlas Fallen looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
This little desert game, it gave me major Darksiders vibes, which is great because we don't get a lot of those. But I think it's really neat because it's from Deck 13, who made The Surge and The Surge 2. It's kind of exciting to see them pivot away from making another Souls type game into making more of an action adventure game.
I agree.
I think
I saw
it's-
that trailer and immediately thought of you, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks sweet. It does. It's got that. Yeah, I don't know. It really does remind me of Darksiders, which is a good thing because those first two games,
They're
mighty fun.
great.
Yeah, the third game's good too. What am I talking about? They're all good. But yeah, also a video game publisher is making shorter games. Is that what you thought I was going to talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was what Scott was talking about too when he referred to that.
I mean, Brazilian Flux Games putting together a new label called Short and Sweet, which will promote games that can be completed in 2 to 4 hours. You kidding me? Have they been listening to this podcast?
Apparently. That's why I put it on here, because I like, seriously, Zach, if you weren't on this episode, I probably would have held this story the next week.
Yeah.
Because it's just what we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, so the first two games are Mirrored Souls and Food Boy, which those are some names, huh? Food Boy.
Yeah.
Food boy.
The founder says a significant number of players just want to chill and play a nice, fun game, say on a Tuesday evening or any other short time window, but that is surprisingly hard to find. We really want to remove the pressure of adding content for the sake of game length, allowing developers to make their game last as long as they envision it, to keep it at the highest quality possible that they can. Santos says Short and Sweet Games is still working out pricing for the games, but he says they're committed to pricing them in a way that's fair and affordable to our community, but at the same time fairly rewards the devs and us. They're expecting sales to be low, but believe that can still be profitable. I mean, this is a dream situation here.
Right. My worry is
yeah.
the quality of these games. I mean, especially at the beginning,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
because they're going to be doing something completely fresh. They're stripping away. They're going to trim all the fat, which on paper sounds awesome.
Right.
But your first time doing that and giving us just the good stuff, it sounds good. I just worry about the quality.
Yeah, just be cautiously optimistic at this point.
I mean, look at
Wait.
the titles. You said Food Boy,
Right.
Yeah.
And Mirrored Souls, what does Souls even mean in a video game title anymore? Who knows?
right? Yeah,
It's used all the
I
time.
mean, it makes you think of Dark Souls or something of that nature, but I mean, it could
Right.
also be something totally
Yeah.
different.
Could be like Titan Souls, which had nothing to do with it. But you think about some other short games that are 2 to 4 hours, right? Limbo, 2 to 4 hours. That game was extraordinary. Braid was a big hit back in the day,
remember how
So-
huge that game was?
right? And that was only 2
yeah.
or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely make games that are short and have an impact.
You can tell Zach is way smarter than I am, because that game definitely took me longer than 3 hours to complete.
Braid? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It took me
That-
longer as well.
Yeah.
I'm not good at puzzle games.
Maybe it was all the Prince of Persia. I was so used to time manipulation.
No,
Maybe.
you're just a genius, Zach.
I
Just
don't.
accept it. Accept
Oh,
it.
that's a genius working at a comic book store.
Hey, man, better than where you were before, right?
That's true. Absolutely. Leveling up.
Yeah, I
But-
thought this was a really cool idea. Like I said, it felt like somebody was listening to us. Like
Yeah,
it's
it really
cra-
does feel like.
it's crazy to me how my perception has changed, because years ago, I wanted nothing but longer games. I wanted more
Oh,
bang
yeah.
for my buck. I considered length to be something that factored into what I paid for a game. Now I'm like Zach. I'm okay paying $50-$60 for a 8 or 10 hour campaign that's just nothing but great.
Hmm.
Right. If we could get games the quality of Dead Space 2 at $60 a pop, there were 10, 12 hours, that's perfect. Absolutely.
Yes. And yeah, by the way, EA, we do want Dead Space 2
Yes,
remade.
we
Just
do.
saying.
I mean, it feels inevitable.
Yeah, it's got to happen. And it'll be another 4 years, but it's got to happen.
Well, allegedly, they put together a Dead Space remake pretty quick. It was like a year and a half or something of active development. So,
Was it only a year and a half?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that
if you
is.
think about it, it's really just reworking the skeleton, right?
That's true. I mean, you got to
Right.
polish it, but
Yeah. So I mean,
Such a
most of the work was already done for you 15 years ago.
yeah, the hard part, right? Like
Yeah, the hard part was done.
The idea and the story, and
so you just had to make it look pretty.
I mean, the levels were reworked too. You kind of they still had
and
to
they
build it from
added
the
some
ground
stuff
up,
in.
No, yeah, of course, yeah, and the zero G stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's nothing, of course.
Well, yeah.
Hey, part of me wants to play it again, like I've already, like just go through and do the, the run where you got to pick up all the collectibles. Yeah,
do a little New Game Plus.
I started a New Game Plus and I just did it on hard just because, like, yeah, I got this. That's no joke, man. It wasn't even like the insane or whatever. It was just like hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and because I thought everything carried over, but everything I carried over was my plasma rifle. My plasma cutter.
That's all you had.
That's all I had. So I guess the good news is I can just like load up on every other weapon now at this point, and because I haven't used a single weapon in the remake. So, boy, that was a rabbit trail. Shorter games.
We're all for them.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Hey, I'm playing a really long game right now, and that's great too. But I don't think a lot of games don't really have they don't have the content to justify their length.
I mean, dude, that's I still haven't. You know how much I love the Assassin's Creed series, and I never touched Valhalla for more than.
I haven't either.
Because
I played which was it? That Odyssey. There we go.
Yeah.
I played half of it. And
aggressively average that game.
Probably, I think I put in 50 hours. I'm like, you know what? This is too long. And there's still so much I have to do. So I kind of just sidelined it, and I still haven't returned.
That game's infuriating because the starting enemy is just as difficult as the final enemy. The combat
that's true, yeah.
Brain dead easy for 50 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That game sucks.
I like that.
It didn't suck. It was, middle of the road, let's say.
Middle of the road.
It's mid.
A real 5.5 situation.
But yeah, and I feel like I'm missing out because I was invested in the real life story. You know what I mean? Like I always have been. And I feel like it's been so long, I'm just kind of like, don't even remember. I should maybe that's what I'll do this week.
Valhalla?
Yeah.
You get through 10 games, or you can get through half of that one.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the thing that scared me away is like everybody in our Discord talking about it and saying like it's just too big, man. It's just too much.
even the people that want long games are like, this game's too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't got very far in Persona 5 because everyone just raves about that game, but 100 hours just to beat it without the bonus stuff?
I bet it's a good 100 hours though.
Now, I did play Persona 5. I did not play the Royal version, which adds 20 extra hours. It took me 80 hours. 80 hours to finish it. It was great. It was a wonderful 80 hours, but it is a long game, and the Royal version adds an extra 20 or so hours.
How much more can you level up in 100 hours? I just don't get it.
I know they added a new character and probably more story missions with that character, but again, 20 hours.
Yeah, I would assume she would come with a whole new dungeon as well.
I would hope so.
But Persona 3 and 4 were, 78 hours each and worth every minute.
All right, there you go. I want to mention the sad story this week. Unfortunately, Lance Reddick passed away. I did not realize he was 60. That man did not look 60. But
also that's still incredibly young to pass away.
Right.
And, especially he's like at the height of his career, I feel like. He's more popular than ever.
He's such a badass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Every role.
He's got the voice.
He was actually on a press tour for John Wick 4. And the word is that it's natural causes. There wasn't any foul play or self-harm or anything like that. Yeah. But the reason we mentioned it here is because he has voiced multiple characters in video games, including Commander Zavala in Destiny 2, and more familiar to me, Silence in Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. That's where I know him more. He's just got one of those voices that just stands out. Wasn't he also in Lost?
He was in Lost, yeah.
Yes, he was.
The guy in the videos.
He was also the bad guy in Quantum Break.
Oh, you're
right.
He
was. I forgot about that one as well.
Just watching some of the videos, though, of people, I don't play Destiny 2, so I don't know it, but apparently this character, Zavala, just kind of hangs out. He's like an NPC, and people are just going on the balcony wherever he's at.
And they're all just sitting
saluting
around
him.
Yeah, I saw one where they're all just sitting around him.
Yeah. I just think it's just kind of cool.
Did you guys see his PlayStation account? He popped a trophy on Destiny 2 the night before he died.
Oh.
Oh, really?
So not only was he in the game, but he played the game.
Wow. I did.
You know, he got a Lightfall trophy the night before. That's pretty crazy.
That's cool because we've talked to a lot of voice actors and many of them are like, I don't play the games. I just go in the booth and do my work and
Right.
Yeah.
and do a press tour or whatever, but I don't actually play them. Could you imagine playing a game where you were voicing the character?
Well, I was gonna say, I think it would work in his case because he's off to the side more.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
If I was like the main character, I don't think I could play that game. But if I was I had like some speaking lines during the story, but then I was mostly a shopkeeper, I think I could play the game I was in.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if
I'd feel the same way.
If I was Michael Ironside, I would not want to play a Splinter Cell game and hear myself talk.
Dude, I want that.
You want to be that guy?
I want to play the game with me as a character.
Don't you think you'd pick apart everything you said, though? You're like, I should have dragged the E on that line delivery. What was I thinking?
I mean,
Oh, I just can't listen to myself at all speak back, like on a video or anything. I'm like, no.
I mean, dude, trust me, I know what you're talking about because I'm literally in the middle of recording an audiobook right now.
Right.
And going back and listening to myself read a same 15-minute chapter over and over again, going, oh, man, I should have just totally redone that. I get it. I get it. But I feel like it would have been polished more in the,
Little sausage making. Do you recorded the whole chapter at once? Is that how it works?
Yes. I don't know the proper method to do it, but what I've been doing is just reading. I read the chapter silently, like by myself, like just, on my Kindle or whatever. And then I record it. And anytime I make a mistake, I clap my hands really loud so that I can see like a spike on the file. So I know where I need to go make an edit.
Oh, okay.
That's smart.
And then I go through and edit it, and I'm just trying that. So, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how much gaps to put in between like paragraphs or how much gaps in between sentences. I feel like I don't know. Did you listen to the chapter, Zach?
I did.
Like I always worry that like the how much space I say between sentences or between paragraphs is like too much.
I want to listen.
It feels. I can share it with you if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
I would love some feedback. So
Well, I support you.
My feedback was you can control the playback speed these days. So if you take a little too long, people can just go to 1.25 speed or whatever and adjust accordingly.
I don't want to do that though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if I just don't think it's something you have to worry about as much as you think. That's
okay.
all.
Yeah. Again, it's a hypercritical, self-critical thing.
Well, I mean,
right?
yeah, we're all much more critical of ourselves than other people are. So
yeah,
I gave you some fair, even feedback. I feel like
Oh, you did. You did, and I appreciate that because most everybody else is just like, this is great. Yeah, this is awesome. So I appreciate the feedback because I want it to be better. So
right. Yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned for that. But yes, this is long-winded way to say that this is a very sad story about Lance Reddick. I appreciated him, and like I can't think of a thing where I saw him in that I didn't think he was awesome.
yeah,
Right. He was the only reason. He's the only reason I wanted to watch that terrible-looking Resident Evil show.
I know. I still haven't watched it, but I wanted to watch it because of him.
Right.
So it's gonna be bitter. Oh, go ahead.
Casting him as Wesker, sure, that sounds fun. What?
Wait, he was Wesker?
Yeah, he's Albert Wesker. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was Wesker. That's how little I cared about that TV series.
I mean, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little bit bittersweet to watch John Wick 4 and see him in there, and
Yeah.
Right. John Wick 4, though, I don't know if you saw the review at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, but glowing praise.
Yes.
Which I would not have expected from Aaron for a 2-hour and 45-minute action movie.
Yeah, I can't believe that movie is 2 hours and 45. I feel like that was going to be a 5-parter, and they just said, nope, we're going to cram it all into one.
Which, you know what? Good on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that it did not feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes, so...
There's no greater praise.
And apparently he got contacted. You might see his quote in some of the press stuff, too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow up his spot in case it didn't happen, but I did.
So I just jinxed it, is what you're saying?
I mean, I hope not. It's cool. Everybody in the Outsider family gets quoted but me,
You haven't been quoted?
No. Alyssa over here gets quoted left and right, I feel like.
I know.
I've only been quoted twice.
I got quoted once.
Wow. I'm just a bad writer. No, that's all.
Zach, you are so much better than I am.
Oh, yeah.
No, they disagree. Maybe they heard I saw it called Assassin's Creed aggressively average, and they said they can never trust this guy.
Well, Well, before we go pat ourselves on the back too much, let's do some quick housekeeping. I want to remind everybody about Patreon. If you'd like to support the Gaming Outsider and help us out, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. Patrons get some extra goodies. We've got, at the $3 tier, you will get an extra episode each month. At the $5 tier, you get 2 episodes each month. And at the $1 tier, you actually get the episode a day early. And right now, you can actually hear all 9 episodes of the Last of Us HBO series spoiler cast that I did with John Davenport. Those are all available to you. We did actually one every day for the past couple months, so those were available for you. And most recently, our Beginner's Guide to D&D, Kevin, my DM and the producer for this podcast, did that. And I've been talking with CB. We're supposed to get some extra things done this week, and Zack and I have been talking about just doing a just hang out and talk episode about just whatever, and try to have some fun. So we may be doing that as well.
Can I join?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. I
need more time with my guys. Jeez.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's going to get R-rated for sure.
I was going to say, Patreon's great because, we don't have to worry about
it would be.
Keeping it clean, and I can watch these two blush. That'll be
everyone
great.
can see the true extent of what goes on.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we've got some kind of games that aren't for us coming up, and I really should just finish Grandia 2 this week, so Kevin and I can talk about that. So
has he finished RoboTrek?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it. It's been so long, and you know how it is with a JRPG when you've been away for it for so long.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
The nice thing about Grandia is that it's like truly turn-based. There's like no time mechanic at all, so you really can just take your time and do it. It's just a matter of going in and remembering how to do everything. So
there's something about playing through a JRPG where you get into the groove of it. You get into the rhythm, of combat and upgrading your stuff. And yeah, when you take a week off, it hurts. You're out of the rhythm.
Yeah, now it's been a month, so
he's like, what do I do?
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, well, let's get into the games that we've actually been playing. All right, Zach, quite the list here. What do we got coming up this week?
Right, this week starts the show with a showstopper. Resident Evil 4 comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC March 24th. Obviously, nothing really needs to be said about that. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. The Crown of Wu, action platformer, coming to PS4, PS5, and PC March 24th. I played the demo for this, and I do not recommend it. It has some of the loosest, awful-feeling platforming I've played in years.
Wow.
Atelier Ariza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key enters the contest for longest game title ever, and it releases on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC March 24th. Crime Boss Rocky City is that first-person shooter with a bunch of 80s and 90s celebrities. Comes to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, PC March 28th. MLB The Show 23 from PlayStation Studios comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as Nintendo Switch on March 28th. I believe that is the third year running where it's on Game Pass, right?
Is it third? I thought last year was the first year. Is it really 3 years already?
Maybe I'm misremembering.
It's either
Probably
2 or 3.
Yeah. We're very informed on
the
baseball
years are
games.
just blending together now.
Obviously, yeah. Well,
I should ask Joel. He's a massive baseball fan, so he would for sure know.
Either way, it's pretty amazing to see a PlayStation game on Xbox's Game Pass service because it's just ridiculous. Sifu finally comes to Xbox consoles as it makes its way to Series X and Xbox One March 28th. Terra Nil is a very neat looking god game, but instead of, or city builder almost, but instead of building a city, you're taking them down to let nature reclaim areas. I think that sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Coming to iOS, Android, and PC March 28th. The Last of Us Part 1 probably wishes it came out a couple weeks ago instead of now on PC March 28th, so they could have ridden that hype. Pirates Outlaws, a deck-building pirate game, comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch March 29th. Gripper Boss Battler comes to Switch and PC March 29th. Lunark is a cool-looking game. It's a cinematic platformer like the old Prince of Persia's or Another World. I think it looks wonderful. Comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, Nintendo Switch, and PC March 30th. Saga of Sins action game comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC March 30th. Dredge comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, Nintendo Switch, PC, March 30th. And then finally, The Last Worker comes to PS5, PSVR 2, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC, March 30th. Alyssa, what game here looks most interesting to you?
Well, I am super duper hyped for Resident Evil 4 because this will be my first time ever playing the game.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
I thought I mentioned this like multiple times on this podcast.
you probably did.
It's just a shock every time.
It's just it's a hard thing to remember.
Yeah.
It's also like you've played other Resident Evil games.
That's true.
And like
yeah.
somehow you missed one of the best ones in the series. Like it's just mind-boggling to me.
I know. It's a source of shame for me, okay?
I didn't mean to shame you.
No, I shame
more of a
myself over it.
I get the bell. Shame.
Yes.
Shame.
The Cersei Lannister.
On the plus side, it seems like you'll be experiencing the true Resident Evil 4 in all of its goofy glory, and that's great.
That's what you were worried about. You were worried they weren't going to do that, weren't you?
I was very worried about the tone, yeah. But it seems pretty goofy. There's not going to be any quick time event knife battle or anything, unfortunately. But you got to take what you can.
I'm okay with that.
I love the QTEs in Resident Evil 4. I don't care. That's great.
Did you guys play the demo, the chainsaw demo?
No,
I didn't.
I didn't either because I just feel like I know I want to play it. I was
like the game's out in 3 weeks. I'll just play it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've played. I assumed it would be the opening village section, which I've played about 17 times already.
Right.
So it doesn't. I wasn't in a rush to. I'll rather re-experience it when the game comes out. And I hope and hear Leon Scott Kennedy, of course, because I say his full name every time.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you.
When everybody runs away, he just goes, "Where's everybody go? Bingo! I got it. I can't wait." So dumb.
I do want to talk about this game, Gripper, because I don't know if it's a game I would like in terms of gameplay, but that game looks.
Oh yeah, the visuals
super stylized and awesome. I can't even really understand how the game works, but it looks great.
Yeah, I don't really know what.
It's a boss battler. I don't know.
It gave me a big you remember the game Fury from a few years ago?
Yes.
There's a boss battler. It had the Afro Samurai art style.
Oh, okay.
It's what it reminded me of, except you're on a little motorbike. To me, it was just, I thought the game looked great in every trailer until this most recent one, where they actually showed the story and the characters, and I couldn't swing with the writing personally.
Oh, really?
But
I must have saw a different trailer.
I think these games you're there for the boss battles anyway.
Right.
I think it has a great look though. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 4 is the easy one. Although MLB The Show is a game that I get together with some of my friends that don't play video games often and play MLB The Show with them every year for like that weekend. Back when Redbox was a thing, we would rent it and just play it like all weekend and then return it and never do it again. But now that I got Game Pass, it makes it a little bit easier to do. So I don't know.
That's great.
I don't love watching baseball on TV. I love going to games and I love playing baseball games in video game form. I don't know why.
I do. I love going to a baseball game.
Me too.
Something about
smell of the stadium, man.
Yeah, Wrigley Field, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I guess Resident Evil 4 for me as well. No surprise for all three of us. I mean, Resident Evil, great franchise. Resident Evil 4 is the best of the franchise. I'm definitely disagreeing.
Oh, Scott.
I think I like 2 better.
The original or the remake?
I mean, because we don't have the remake of 4 yet, right? So in terms of the original 2 and the original 4, I like the original 2 better.
Oh, interesting.
I
respect it.
It might be a nostalgia thing though, just because I played that one so much more. Like I replayed 2, did all the stuff and just was enraptured in the story. And 4 was a game that I played with a buddy past the controller. Okay. Through the whole thing, which is fun. It's a cool thing to do, but it also makes it less personal.
I understand. Yeah.
So that could
I wonder how the remake will hit you.
We will find out for sure.
Yes, but I'm very excited for Lunark.
Yeah,
it just looks cool. Like I love those kind of games. They don't really make those anymore. The cinematic 2D platformer, like was it Flashback and Another World and Prince of Persia. I don't know. I think it looks great.
I have Flashback, and I never could get very far in it. I should go give that one because they remade it.
Yes,
Xbox.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know. Those games can be hard to get through because I feel like death comes harshly.
Yeah, it's got that old school mentality of
like you get hit once you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unforgiving.
Absolutely.
Okay, Zach, our resident DC expert, you have been playing DC's Justice League Cosmic Chaos on PS5, and just from watching the trailer, it looks adorable. But what can you tell me about this game? Because all I'm seeing is, you're entering the environment and kind of beating up the enemies in the trailer.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the game. It's it's definitely a
okay.
I guess you say a beat 'em up or a dungeon crawler kind of game. They bill it as an open world game, which I guess technically because you can go wherever you want in the hub, but it's really more of a dungeon crawler because you've got.
It reminds me, and I don't mean this in a negative way. It reminds me of a Lego game.
Yeah, I kind of got those vibes from the trailer.
I can see where you would get that, especially because it's so kid oriented. Especially the looks. Everybody, all the Justice Leaguers kind of look like babies.
They do.
Like these big round eyes and short statures and big heads. But yeah, in terms of the actual gameplay, I've been referring to it as baby's first dungeon crawler because you much like Pokemon, I affectionately refer to as baby's first RPG. Because you have this little hub area and you're basically going to the sewers or you go into the warehouse or different buildings and you just explore the map in there to find whatever key you need for the door to get to the exit. Basically, very very simple gameplay in that way. And you have these, you have different abilities that are on cooldown timers and stuff like that. So it's very much kind of like a Diablo style gameplay with no loot. It has like loot, but they're all like just upgrade materials and stuff. You don't get like a new cape or anything.
Aw.
Now, do you get to choose who you play as, or is it per section that the game selects?
Yeah, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are your 3 playable characters. You can play as them. You swap with them anytime. In fact, the game kind of incentivizes you to do so because certain enemies will be weak to certain characters. They'll be color coded.
Okay.
So if they have like a yellow shield, you want to get Wonder Woman out because she can get through the shield faster. Things like that. It's strangely though the main campaign does not have co-op.
What?
Which
it seems like it would be the perfect game to have co-op in.
They have a separate mode called Instant Action where you can play co-op, and it gives you these different maps to beat people up. But in terms of the main story, it is not co-op. Not through it unless it's hidden real deep, which it doesn't make any because you have all 3 characters with you anyway.
Yeah.
So it must just have been some kind of the developers must not have been able to figure it out or something because it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, I mean you just look at the trailer and it feels like it should be a multiplayer co-op game.
It does.
Right. Well, and I feel like the marketing says co-op because technically they have a co-op mode, but yeah, I would definitely be disappointed if you just look at this game and assume co-op. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now I know you're like a massive DC fan, so. You're gonna have some instant love automatically. I don't mean that in a negative towards you at all, but I mean, when you saw this trailer, even though it's a very kid friendly game, you're like, yeah, I want to play that. But now that you've played it, is it something that you recommend for somebody, whether they are or aren't a DC fan, like hardcore DC fan?
Right. If you're looking for something to play, with your kid or something that's not a Lego game. I think it would be a good option. I guess there really aren't that many, right, anymore outside of Lego. But it's something you could help them play, I guess, and you can't play it with them for some bizarre reason. But yeah, I do think the license carries a lot of weight, especially because the voice cast is some real heavy bangers. Diedrich Bader is Batman.
Okay.
He was Batman in the Brave and the Bold cartoon. Or
wait, is that a dude from the Drew Carey show?
Right. Yes, the guy in Office Space who would. 2 chicks at the same time.
2 chicks at the same time.
He's also Batman in the Harley Quinn show, isn't he?
Yes, you're right. He is. Mm-hmm. And then the Wonder Woman from the Harley Quinn show is Wonder Woman here. And then Superman is voiced by Nolan North, who was Superman in Young Justice for many years. So it's got an also or T.C. Carlson, the original Kratos is Green Lantern. So it's definitely got a big cast to it. And that helps carry if you're a longtime DC fan, because you'll have recognized these voices. Oh, they're all doing it a little over the top, I assume, because it was a kid property, so they felt they had to. So Superman can be a little annoying sometimes, in particular. But they're all goofy and they kind of tease each other in a lot of fun ways. It's got a lot of love for DC, which is great.
How long is it?
I haven't beaten it yet, but based on my trophy speed, I would say it's probably going to be about 10 hours.
Okay.
10, 12. It came out right as I was going on vacation, so it was, I was doing what I can. But it's, it's got a simple little plot. I don't know if anybody in this room knows who Mr. Mxyzptlk is.
I have heard of this character.
Right. Fifth dimensional.
I could never figure out how to say the name, though.
I mean, I don't know if anybody has. We're all just taking a guess. Yeah. Because it's just nothing but consonants. He's a fifth dimensional imp scout who's obsessed. He's a Superman fanboy, basically. And he wants to come over here and give him a hard time. And the only way you can get it, banish him back to his dimension, is by having him say his own name. So you have to trick him into saying Mxyzptlk, which is a fun little conceit. Yeah, but what?
I mean, if his name was like the or something, that'd be pretty easy. But like Mxyzptlk or whatever.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's got to be such a hard name to say that it's hard to get rid of him.
There's an amazing episode of the Superman animated series with Mr. Mxyzptlk, his first appearance, and it's just a montage basically of Superman tricking him within like 5 minutes because he just knows to expect him. So he'll be like, "Oh, you're Mr. Oh, is it Mr. Music Man or something like that?" And he's like, "That's Mr. Mxyzptlk, you know that." And he's like, "Darn it!" He gets himself banished. It's a great episode. And, but he unleashes Starro on everybody, and it looks like Amanda Waller is involved. So a lot of DC big names getting thrown around here.
Oh yeah.
They even mentioned the Checkmate organization. That's kind of a deeper cut. So yeah, I mean, a lot to love for DC fans. But if you're like an adult gamer, it would be hard to recommend this over other stuff.
Right.
I think that's fair to say, because the gameplay is extraordinarily simple and very one note, because there are even side missions, but all you're going to do in those is just beat people up too.
Oh, okay.
There's not really like a great deal of variety to it. And I mean, it's fun to like alternate the cooldown timers, I guess, but like this is just not a genre that would normally appeal to me without the DC branding, for sure.
So like if it didn't have that, you just probably wouldn't be playing it.
No, because it's hard for me to even get into Diablo these days. That's a big name of these kind of games. I have like no excitement for Diablo 4 at all.
I say I have excitement. I didn't download because you have to pre-order it to get access to the beta.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was more of like I didn't have time this weekend, so there's no rush to do it. So, but there's another beta next weekend, right?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
It's open to everybody, so you don't have to pre-order it. They're like,
doing
a closed beta first.
That's good. I think pre-ordering for beta access is such a scummy, dirty move.
Yeah, especially because
give us your guaranteed money to playtest our game for us.
Right.
That's pretty dirty. That's a pretty dirty move.
Especially because like there's like 3 different versions of it. Like the lowest being the $70 and the highest being $100, and all you get for like that extra $30 is you get the game 4 days early, and you get some cosmetic stuff or like some skins or weapons or whatever. Like that is not. I'm sorry, guys. That's not worth $30. I can wait the 4 days to play the game.
No, I feel like every game's deluxe edition has gone that way.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's kind of brilliant because people are good. People have FOMO so bad that they're willing to pay half of the price of what a game used to cost more.
Just play it early. Yeah, I mean, we Scott, we know plenty of people who just like love to be the first to do something.
Yeah,
it's And
have I ever told you my theory about like this is random. When you go to a concert, I know you're not a big music guy, Zach, but if you go to a concert and the band tries to get everybody to clap, like clap in rhythm, and it never works because the crowd doesn't have rhythm, like collectively. Well, it always just goes. I'm convinced that it's not even the fact that they don't have rhythm, but they're like subconsciously have to be the first one to clap.
I believe
which is why the rhythm always gets off. I thought about that.
It's like old internet forums, right? Remember everyone at first.
Yep.
You're right. It's something in the human condition, and I do not understand it. Nope. To me, I always view it as you're getting punished by 4 days for spending only $70.
Yeah.
On rewards.
Mhm.
They're punishing you for
But
not spending
again,
enough money.
I don't care. Once the game is
course.
released, I truly don't care.
No, why would you? It's
So
ridiculous.
I'm
Yeah.
completely fine just waiting.
But there are people out there who had like, I played 4 days before you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
In a week, it's literally not going to matter unless
Yeah,
you are like a streamer or, you know what I mean? Like that's a little bit different. But if you're a
Yeah.
streamer, you're
I
probably
guess.
getting a copy.
right.
You know what I mean? So
That's true. Anyway, back to Justice League. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun, not great, you know? It's better
Fair
than
enough.
Gotham. It might be better than Gotham Knights. I don't know.
Oh wow.
Whoa!
Right. It's probably about even.
Oh
I actually
wow.
like Gotham Knights quite a bit.
Give it 6.5. Yeah. They're both enjoyable, fun, disposable games.
DC's Justice League Cosmic Chaos. I feel like it looks cute.
It
I-
does.
Yeah.
Nothing I'm going to jump the gun for or anything like that. But maybe
No,
if I
if
had
you're-
kids.
If you're a big DC fan, there's going to be, there's a lot to make you grin.
And let's move on to Alyssa, who's been
Mhm.
playing Hotel Renovator. You're playing this one on PC. It's working on your Steam Deck, I assume?
I cannot play it on Steam Deck, so I have to play it on my PC.
It won't play on Steam Deck.
Not yet. The developer even said they do not recommend playing it on Steam Deck because you have to like heavily customize the controls, and let me tell you, when I play it, it is putting my PC through its paces. Like my PC sounds like a jet engine taking off when I play this game.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a bad thing, but like it also feels like a good thing. That means the game is
Oh.
pretty graphically good looking.
Oh, it runs at a steady 60 frames per second.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a Hotel Renovator.
Yes.
Is at 60 frames per second.
Yes.
Is there a lot of movement going on? I mean, when I think Hotel Renovator and just from the trailer and stuff that I watched, it just looks like you were it like the kind of games that you like, like the
Yeah.
House Flipper and stuff like that. That's what this game is,
It's-
but you're a hotel manager, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to House Flipper. You're just renovating this hotel from top to bottom, or bottom to top, actually. You have to work up. But, I mean, there's not that much going on. There are NPCs that, walk around the lobby, go on the elevator. But there's not that much stuff going on. But I am really enjoying it. I'm just like, why is this so intense on my PC and I can't play it on Steam Deck?
That's crazy. So how are you digging the game? Like,
Oh, I
could-
really like it. It's very relaxing to me.
Mhm.
I lose track of time when I play it. I've completely renovated the lobby and the first floor. I've got 2 floors left, and it's taken me 8 hours for
Wow.
that. So
So
I
is it
feel
like
like-
the end game? Like you complete all the floors and then like you're done with that hotel, or do you go on to another hotel, or?
I feel like you're finished with this hotel. There is a sandbox mode where you can build your own hotel, which I'm not a huge fan of, just building my own things, but that's obviously going to appeal to some players. But yeah, this campaign's pretty meaty, surprisingly.
So like I don't play House Flipper. I played
Mhm.
like Power Wash Simulator, so I get the appeal of like cleaning things up and making them look better. But I mean, is this when I think of a game like House Flipper or a Hotel Renovator, I think of it like just a decorator kind of thing. Are you just like picking furniture and picking artwork and
I mean,
designs, or are
you're
you cleaning? Or
you clean trash out of the rooms, you demolish the walls and floor, you put new flooring in, change the walls, you put the furniture in, and each room has a specific amount of stuff you have to put in. It'll tell you, we need 2 sofas in this room, or 6 cabinets, or the guest wants it to have these colors. So you're designing the room to those specifications.
wait,
and
the
there-
guest wants it that color?
Yeah, which I'm like,
Do
Y-
hotel guests get to pick the color of their room?
not in real life.
I guess it depends. I don't know. Maybe Tom Hanks does.
I mean, I'm just trying to imagine going to a
Depends on-
hotel and being like, do you have any rooms left that are in lime green? If not, I'm going to a competitor.
Right. But they're not going to care about you.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I am Scott Clark from The Gaming Outsider.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I heard you.
Do you
managed to
know
get Roger
who I
Sharp.
am?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
heard you managed to talk to Roger Sharp. That's pretty impressive. He's,
You can have this room decorated exactly to your tastes.
absolutely.
There are like little side I wouldn't say side quests, but they pop up. They're events. Some are better than others. You might have to go to a room and fix a leaky pipe, or the power goes out in the hotel and you have to fix it. And then there are some that really don't make sense. Like, there's a chicken that will randomly appear in your hotel, and you have to dice battle this chicken.
Dice battle?
We've all been there.
And I don't know what the purpose of this chicken and the dice battle are, besides distracting me from my decorating.
It sounds like something you would do in Kentucky Route Zero. A random thing.
But it worked in that game. I'm just like, I don't see how it fits in Hotel Renovator.
My face is like aghast. I can't even fathom, like, we're cleaning up this. Oh, okay, we got these couches in here.
It'll pop up on your screen, be like, there's a chicken in the corridor.
So you go pick up the chicken and put it outside. Don't play Yahtzee with it.
Huh?
It goes away once you play the dice game 5 times with it.
Like win or lose?
Yeah, win or lose. But if you win, you get some money. I'm like, how is this chicken paying me $10,000?
Your guys' ignorance of the hotel industry speaks volumes.
Apparently. It really does.
Standard operating procedure.
There is also an event that happens, like a room will become haunted, so you have to put ghost traps down and use your vacuum cleaner to bust the ghost, and then
Please tell me they look like the Ghostbusters ghost traps.
Not really, no, sadly.
Licensing.
Yeah, probably. But you make $10,000 for every ghost you capture and sell.
Who
you sell ghosts? Who do you sell ghosts to?
I don't know who is buying it. It's probably somebody shady. I don't know.
I say, yeah.
Just putting them up on eBay.
But it is a fun game.
Buy it, yeah.
I do like the decorating more than the side stuff, because sometimes I'll be really in the decorating zone and those events will pop up and you have 30 minutes, say, to do them before they end, and you can get docked points if you don't do them. So I really love the decorating aspect. The side events, not as much, but they're still not, they're not taken away from the game too much. It's just, I would prefer to just be in Zen mode.
So where does this fall in the, rankings of these simulator type games that you like so much? House Flipper and Power Wash Simulator, Lawn Mowing Simulator, which I don't think you played that one.
No.
I liked it.
I've really only played House Flipper, and I will say I do prefer House Flipper more at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the campaign of this game is a lot better than House Flipper's. House Flipper was just, you were in that Zen zone the entire time. You're just decorating and going at your own pace. You're not being interrupted. So, if they had that aspect in this game, I think I would like it even more than I do. But yeah, I like this game. It's just the side stuff kind of pulls me away from it a bit.
Maybe they could offer like a streamlined campaign, where you're not having all the chickens playing dice games thing.
Yeah, I just don't get the chicken thing.
I don't either. I'm still like just puzzled by playing dice with the chicken. Doesn't make any sense to me. So Hotel Renovator.
I do recommend it if you like House Flipper, games of that nature. Just be aware that there's some other things going on besides, just decorating and renovating. You're going to have to do dice battles with chickens and capturing ghosts.
All right.
Cleaning the rooms, stuff like that.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys both for checking out those games. I do not have anything new that I played this week because I played games for me this week.
Hell
Good
yeah,
for
you
you.
did.
And I'm not going to apologize. But before we move on to our topic of the week, I want to welcome everybody to our Facebook group, which can be found at facebook.com/groups/the GoCast, and also our Discord server. We got good conversations going on over there. There's a link for that in the show notes. Got a new member by the name of Doomerang, who is also signed up for our Patreon page at the same time. So thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And welcome to the community. Hope you are enjoying it. He messaged me privately and said he really enjoyed the show as well. So thank you. Also, if you get a chance, drop us a review, especially on Apple Podcasts. It helps us get the word out a little bit there. And or wherever you listen, if you have the ability to review it, drop a review. Let people know that you like the show because we want to get into the ears of more people. And lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. That's where you can find all of our written content and all of our reviews. We really would appreciate it. And I got one more thing to mention before we move on to our topic, and I meant to do this at the top of the show. I can't give you specifics right now, However, I will say that we do officially have a date for R2V2. I'm not going to tell you who's coming because it's 99% locked in. But we have a date of October 14th. So please mark your calendars for Saturday, October 14th. We got a new venue, and we're going to be getting those vendors back. We're going to have some celebrity people coming, stopping by, potentially 3 people. I just don't want to promise it till I have it locked in for sure. But it's going to be an awesome, awesome time. Please mark your calendars. I want to see everybody there. And who knows, maybe we'll do like a live recording. We've been talking about doing that for forever, Zach.
That'd be great.
Still want to do that. So
we talk about Metroid live.
We could talk about whatever live. But yeah, keep an eye on thegamingoutsider.com for more details. I am so looking forward to R2V2, also known as the Rock River Valley Video Game Convention. But yeah, R2V2 for short. With that, let's go ahead and get into our topic. All right, this week we are discussing the term gamer, which as of late has become somewhat of a dirty word within the circles of our favorite hobby. We're going to do our best to define what it means to be one. So I'm going to start with you guys. What do you guys think the term, or before we even get into like defining it, but why do you think that the term gamer has such a negative connotation these days? Is it a good thing or a bad thing to be referred as one? What do you think, Alyssa?
I don't personally take offense to being called a gamer. I think the people that give it a negative connotation don't play games. I think they see it as either a waste of time or they, go on that, the whole, it causes people to be violent spiel.
Right.
So I feel like the people that just give it a negative connotation are people that don't actually play games.
Interesting. I actually was going at it from a completely different perspective, but I want to hear Zach's thoughts first.
Oh, I think it's mostly games media who has done it. The Kotakus and Polygons of the world. I feel like they've turned it into some weird negative thing as they've become more antagonistic towards their audience, and I feel like that's where it kind of comes from, and then it kind of spreads from there. But yeah, I do think it has a negative connotation right now. It's a very bizarre one to me, but I feel like they always talk about capital G gamers. I feel like online about how terrible they are or whatever. But I don't pay it any mind because those people sound stupid.
I'm kind of fascinated because we're gonna all 3 of us have a completely different perspective on this whole thing because I'm coming at it from a completely different angle and I was not expecting this.
Oh, okay.
So I think my thought, and I'm surprised that nobody thought this because I didn't think my idea was going to be original at all, is I looked at it more from a gatekeeping standpoint. Like people that have been playing games for as long as they have are looking down on people that consider themselves to be a, quote, gamer, even though they don't do what they think is required to be considered a gamer. You know what I mean?
Interesting, yeah.
I didn't think about that, but I'm too nice, so...
What? I was going to say, well, now it just seems like, is this what all our Twitter feeds give us? Like these 3 different... Because it's one word, but we have 3 different takes there. 3 very different takes on it.
Well, and I'm going to tell you the inspiration for doing this topic. And Zach and I had a brief discussion about this, through text messages, which is kind of what put this whole thing forth. But I was listening to a podcast, and it was the hosts of the show were dedicating an entire episode to one specific video game. And it's a brand new podcast. They were only like 3 episodes in by the time I started listening to it. And I got halfway through the episodes, and one of the hosts said, well, I didn't actually play the game. I watched somebody play it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. And without even thinking about it, my instincts, I bristled. I went like, you can't talk about a game and how a game feels if all you did was watch it. You know what I'm saying? But then I kind of started thinking about it, and I went, wait a minute. And this is what I got Zach in. I was like, I love football. I don't play football, but I watch football. And I can critique football, and I can talk about what it's like. I can have all these deep, in-depth conversations. So who am I to judge somebody that talks about a game just by watching somebody else play it?
Right.
So
yeah.
No, I remember this conversation now, and it was a fascinating idea because it brought to mind to me, like, Scott, I know you're a big audiobook guy.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I bet people give you crap all the time. They say, you didn't read it, did you?
All the time, man.
And
All
how is
Yeah.
the
that?
time.
And that's kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
Because I guess technically you didn't read it, but you still experienced it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
So,
just
yeah,
in a
and I
different
think-
way.
So I think your YouTube Twitch argument is valid, and it is something that, like, if you didn't force me to think about it, I guess I listened to the same episode and didn't think anything of it, but that self-reflection on your part I thought was great because it made me self-reflect as well. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is just like that is just another way to experience it in this day and age.
Mhm.
Right. Because I grew up as a kid, being somewhat ostracized for playing games. Like, it was like this nerdy thing to do, right?
Of course,
But at the same time, all I wanted was for everybody else around me to experience games. So who am I to, like, say, well, you can't experience it? I'm not. I have never want to be a gatekeeper, but I had that impulsive reaction to be like, well, you're not a gamer. You just watch somebody else play it. You know what I mean? And what's interesting, because I didn't stop listening to the episode, I listened to the whole thing, and the conversation was great. Like,
Right.
They were very well educated about what the game is, even though they didn't play the game. And it turns out that this particular critic, there was some kind of disability going on. They didn't go into an explanation of what that was, but there was a reason that they weren't, or they briefly said something about their hands hurting or something after playing a Twitch-style game for too long, and it kept them from being able to play it, which is why they relied on a video like that. So again, that's great. That's somebody experiencing the game that otherwise couldn't. They like the hobby so much that they're willing to take whatever methods they can in order to do it. So I should be applauding them instead of like getting that knee-jerk reaction of, you're not a gamer. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. Growth is great. You never stop growing, Scott.
Yeah, dude,
It's
getting
true.
old sucks sometimes, but in this case, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
so Alyssa's. Remind me, Alyssa. I'm trying to remember. I got so wrapped up in my thoughts. Yours is people negatively, like, referring to gaming as being a gamer as a negative thing because they don't game themselves.
And also just the news stories about how people are like, this is linked to violence when there really
That
hasn't
too.
any connection.
That too. Zack's was more tied to it being on the shoulders of the media that have basically taken to attacking gamers as a collective audience or a collective.
That's
I don't know, I
certainly
can't
how it
think of the word.
feels. Yeah. And they have an antagonistic relationship with their own audience.
Which is a bizarre way to do business,
It
to
is.
do
yeah.
journalism.
But do I
But
feel do I sound crazy, or does this feel
No,
No,
like they?
I see
I-
it. I didn't think about
consider
it at first, but
Yeah.
when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, I totally see it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you there. But and then obviously mine about the gatekeeping aspect. I'm just still kind of blown away that we just had three vastly
Yeah.
different looks at this whole topic, and I think that's pretty great. So let's get down to it. What do you think it means to be a gamer? I mean, can you play anything like a cell phone game, or can you just watch others play games on Twitch? Why does it all even matter, or does it even matter, really, Zach?
It probably ultimately doesn't matter. It's just all finding like any sort of label. I don't know how much it really matters in the end. But for me, I've always used the term gamer as similar to saying you're a film buff or a cinephile, or I'm an avid book reader. That anybody can play games and say they play games or whatever. But I feel like if you're using the word gamer or to call someone else a gamer, it just means that they're really into it. Like you would a film buff. Everybody
Sure.
watches movies,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily. You wouldn't call everybody a film buff.
Would you
You know
say
what I mean?
everybody plays games?
I would, at this point, yes, I would say everybody plays
Oh
games.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
At
I
least
would say
at
I
one
would-
point in their life, they play a game.
Like I don't even see how it's possible anymore.
I mean, you could even lump in like tabletop games, right? Like everybody
Oh, yeah.
plays a tabletop
Yeah.
game with somebody. Would you consider them a gamer? I would.
Yeah, I don't know where the terminology breaks down.
Yeah.
Between a video gamer and a board gamer. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're both gamers. I don't know. Board games require talking to people, so that sounds terrible.
It does.
but I mean, everybody, even on their phone, they pull up. I'm sure everybody's played something on their phone at some point.
I mean,
You know?
even like back when, Nokia phones were the thing and all you had to play was
Snake.
Snake. You're playing Snake.
Yeah, Snake's great. or almost any app in this day and age is gamified. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
get your points at Taco Bell.
I mean, like even
Yeah.
Duolingo's gamified.
Yeah, well, Duolingo is like predatory if it wasn't about learning.
Yeah, I know.
It gets a slide on being so aggressive and gross because it's just trying to make you learn something. But even, you know, I'm not saying using the Taco Bell app to get double points because you bought a soft shell today is gaming technically, but it has that same little like watch the numbers go up that gamers love so much.
Yeah.
And
the
it has
plus
that hook
rewards
to it
points.
to keep you coming back.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, I think everybody interacts with games and video games.
Here's what's
everybody.
funny about the Taco Bell app is that it probably is actually less convenient to use the app when I want to get some food at Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever. But because there's that reward aspect associated with it, I do it that
Right.
way.
Well, and so at McDonald's you get that large fry for $1 if you're an app user.
I did not know that.
Dude. At least around me you do.
You learn something new every day.
Dude.
Yeah,
It's
might
pretty
be a
awesome.
geographical thing because I feel like because I'm looking at the deals. Like whenever I'm
Did
going,
you-
I'm like, what can I get for a deal?
Did you get offered the Taco Pass
No.
when that was around? Dude, it was $10 a month for unlimited tacos. For you get one taco a day included your subscription.
I mean, dude, nobody goes and just gets a taco at Taco Bell. Like,
No, but of course, but you're still getting a free taco. And if you're a soft shell taco person, I think we all are. We all get a taco at Taco Bell,
right.
and they're $1. They're
Yeah.
up to $1.79 now. So if you go there, you know, even once a week, pretty much paying off your taco pass. Just saying, it was a great deal.
I wouldn't do it just because then I feel like I have to justify my $10 subscription to Taco Bell, and I'm going to go more often.
Yeah, well, I go pretty often anyway, so it was they didn't offer to allow me to renew it. So I guess the money didn't work out for them
Yeah.
the way they had hoped because I got probably 27 tacos that
Oh,
month.
wow.
I'll tell you what, I was making trips to Taco Bell just for a taco.
But then you got to like have that awkward like look for the guy that's like, yeah, here's a dude for his free taco. He's not getting
Hell
anything
yeah.
else.
Like
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
want
get
a
off
drink or another taco?
You know, I'm going to get off the bus here. I know in 10 minutes the next bus comes, so I'm going to hop in, grab my taco, hop back out. Perfect.
I love that we're talking about tacos right now. This is
I'll always find a way. Gamers love tacos. I don't think there's any question.
What makes you a gamer? You like Taco Bell. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think that's a mandatory.
I mean,
Mountain
Taco
Dew,
Bell's
Taco
gotten
Bell.
into gaming sort of by giving away consoles and stuff. So
That's
They
true.
have in the past, yeah.
What was it? It was Mountain Dew and pizza rolls, right? That's the old gamer standby. Is that what Jeff
and
Keighley was
Doritos.
hanging out?
yeah, Doritos.
Oh, that's right. Mountain Dew and Doritos. You're right. That's what Jeff Keighley loves.
Mm-hmm. I love Doritos,
Surrounded-
but not when I'm playing the game, man.
No, you don't
Well,
want
no,
you
yeah.
don't want the cheese dust on your controller.
Can't happen.
And
No,
you
snacking
can't eat
and
Doritos
gaming.
out of a cup, man.
No, not easily.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could like just bite out one at a time, like you're playing a sexy little game with your Doritos.
Yeah.
Just nibble on the tip of your Dorito.
Why is everything got to be so dirty with you, man?
I'm not talking about eating a Dorito.
I know. Talking about nibbling the corners off a Dorito.
You don't do that?
I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now.
You know, we finally get that explicit tag on an episode.
I know, right?
Over
We don't-
Doritos.
We don't swear at all, but we get
Yeah.
dirty with Doritos.
I would love to have that appeal to Apple. Be like, well, guys, you're talking about nibbling. Be like, Doritos, though. I love to have that conversation.
Alyssa, what does it mean for you to be a gamer? What does it mean to you to be a gamer?
I feel like anyone that plays games at all, whether you're playing on mobile, you're playing board
Look at her
games.
try to stop thinking about nibbling right now.
I'm
she's
trying.
like, she's trying so
I'm
hard
trying to be
keep it
composed.
Uh,
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Deep
yeah,
breaths.
really refraining from saying a lot of things right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm amazed at your commitment to being restrained.
It's tough.
All right, back to it.
Okay. I feel like anyone that plays games, whether it's mobile, board games, console games, PC games, you're a gamer. Now, there are, hardcore gamers that, play, a lot more often. I'd say we probably are more hardcore, or, the term closer to like why we call someone a film buff cinephile or bookworm or whatever you want to compare it to. But I feel like, yeah, anyone that plays something is a gamer. And, I mean, you did bring a good point with watching, someone play a game on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. And the fact that, some people could only experience this game by watching it because of accessibility issues, or maybe they have a disability or something of that nature. Or maybe they can't afford to have a console or a phone, but they have a laptop or something and they can watch someone play.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like gamer is a pretty broad term. I feel like anyone that plays a game is a gamer. Now, obviously, there could be tiers to the level of involvement or what kinds of games you play, I guess. But if you play a game,
so you're going to be like a bronze gamer, you're going to be a silver gamer.
Well, I meant like just gamer. Like more casual, or you're playing games every day, or maybe you're just like getting together with friends every once in a while, like having gaming sessions.
I don't game every day.
Well, I don't either, to be honest, but
yeah, like it's as you get older, it's harder to set aside time to game every single day, and I don't have a job where I can I can just take a break and game on my lunch break or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like we're pretty much in agreement here. I think the whole argument, honestly, is kind of dumb. The thing about people getting upset by it for any of the reasons that we are, it just really sucks, because I have such positive feelings towards this hobby, and when I see like negativity seep in because of the hobby, I get annoyed. I talked earlier about like when I was a kid, all I wanted was everybody to play games. Now everybody is playing games, and some of those people are ruining it. You know what I mean? So that gatekeeper mentality does creep in every once in a while, and I have to like kind of self-reflect and look at it and be like, no, they're playing games. It's not going to be perfect, but I'd rather share that with everybody and have everybody experience it, and hopefully some people actually see why I love this hobby as much as I do. I mean, look at the Last of Us HBO series. I got to imagine that there's a lot of people that don't even know that's based on a video game, unless you're not watching the, as long as you're not watching the thing at the end. But
well, in the opening credits say based on a place or a video game from
some
PlayStation
people
and
skip
Naughty
the
Dog.
intro, which
hurts
my heart. It's such a beautiful intro.
It is.
You know what? If you didn't watch the intro, did you really watch The Last of Us?
Oh, there's a whole argument to be said about that too. I saw somebody on Twitter talking about how how at the end when you're watching a television show on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and the credits start, and it says to play next episode, click this button. But the argument was that the end credits are part of the artistry of the show. In some cases, like there should be an option to not have that, just to let it play the entire thing.
I always watch the credits.
I don't. I'm guilty of just like, go, next one.
Yeah.
My father was a major film buff, or cinephile, I guess. He's a movier. Is that what you call it?
A movier.
Yeah.
A filmer.
I was going to say filmer.
Yeah. And I don't know how everybody feels about it these days, but back in the day, he told me you owed it. You owed it to the people that made this movie you're watching to sit through the credits.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I typically only sit through the credits if I know there's going to be post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, now you almost have to. There's like an app that like tells you that if this
look it up online. How many post-credit scenes are there after so-and-so movie?
I wish, and this is a shout out to all of my fellow moviegoers, stop telling me, oh, make sure to stick for the rounds of the credits. I know that. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Please stop telling me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nonsense thing to tell me. And I'm getting mad. I'm getting old man mad about it.
Don't get mad, man. But to answer the question, I'm with you guys. I don't care if you're playing a card game. I don't care if you're playing a dice game. I don't care if you're playing a video game, a board game. As long as you're doing something that is entertaining, that may or may not involve other people, where it's not necessarily contributing to, how do I say this without making it sound bad? Where it's not something that you have to do like for a job. You know what I mean? Where it's something that you're doing for pure entertainment purposes, I consider you a gamer. I don't worry about levels of it. I know you were talking about like how, maybe you're a casual gamer. Like Zack said, at the end of the day, it does not matter. What matters is the interactions and the experiences that you have. If you're having the experience, I'm not going to put a label on you. I just want I want to share in my enjoyment with as many people as possible. And if that means calling you a gamer, so be it. If you don't want to be referred to as a gamer, so be it. I don't care. Just play the game with me. Have some
Yeah,
fun.
that's ultimately. I agree. If you want to be called a gamer, great. I'll call it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't care.
If you don't want to be
And
called one, you just want to play games, that's fine too.
And if how you experience a game is via Twitch or YouTube, you experience it differently than I did, but I still think you experience it.
Yeah.
Just like audiobook, I think reading it engages your brain a different way when you're actually reading paper on a page, but just because you listen to audiobook doesn't mean you didn't experience the book,
Absolutely. I mean, I think we talked about this before too, but like listening to an audiobook, especially a Star Wars book like I am right now, is
Right.
difficult because you can't see how the name is spelled to know.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you kind of seeing the word sometimes helps you to recognize that character better than listening. But
Yeah, I listened to the whole Broken Earth trilogy in audiobook, and there's a character named Gija, I guess, but I kept hearing it. I heard it as Dija all the way through. And I was trying to Google more information about him, and I was like, who is it? Where does he not exist? What is happening? But I just heard it wrong the whole time.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what our community said, and starting over on Discord. Actually, I think it's all Discord this week. Zach, why don't you start?
Sure, Alan Scheck writes in, if you play games, you're a gamer. I'm a strong advocate for labeling even old people who are addicted to Candy Crush as gamers, especially if they are vehemently opposed to the label. Watching does not necessarily make a gamer, in my opinion, but they are welcome to the community nonetheless. So Alan here is a reverse gatekeeper. He wants everybody in, whether or not they want to be there.
Yeah, even if they don't want to be there, you're a gamer. Just accept it.
Right. Everybody's a gamer.
Yeah. He doesn't think that watching makes you a gamer, though.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the argument both ways, I guess.
Yeah, I could as well.
I think your disability argument or point was a great point because maybe there's I keep using the audiobook comparison because it's just how it works in my brain. But if you have some disability, it makes it it's hard for you to read things up close or whatever. An audiobook's an easier way to experience it, and what's the harm in that? I wouldn't say that doesn't make you a reader.
I mean, I struggle with the aspect of why would you be interested in games if you don't have the ability to play them? Again, that's just me trying to wrap my head around it because to me, the joy of playing a game is having that control.
Right, the inherent interactivity.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you're taking that away, then to me, it's just, I might as well watch a show. You know what I mean?
I think for me, the bigger argument is more the Twitch one of like, why would I want to watch someone talk while they play a game? Like,
Right.
I just feel like that'd be like watching somebody who's talking all the way through a movie. It would just be so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
It's
done
like one
that
of those-
with friends,
it's the
like sitting on the couch,
It feels like people who like, hey, can you? They like pause the movie to ask you a question about it or whatever. And like, I'm watching the same thing you are.
Yeah.
You're just ruining the
Bugs
pace.
me
is
so
what you're
much.
doing.
Every time I have to pause a movie, I'm a little bit mad.
I'm with you. Oh, I'm with you. To me, it's which I know, which it feels weird, but it's like they edited it for a certain pacing. They knew that you were going to watch this in one stretch. Every time I pause it, now I'm being taken out of this movie.
And it takes me longer to finish the movie.
That's true. Yeah, that is also true.
Let's go on to the next one, Alyssa.
I sound like such an old man in this episode.
I know we all do.
Oh, yeah. Old lady over here. Thomas Bex writes, everyone who regularly plays games is a gamer, and it absolutely does not matter what kind of games they are. All games are equal. All gamers are equal.
I would wonder what regularly means. Like once a month? Twice a
Right.
I
year?
don't know.
I guess, yeah, there's no hard and fast rules, so I guess it's personal determination. Until we figure out these color-coded tiers you're talking about.
Right, exactly. But then,
In our-
but I have no desire to do that. I
in our
don't.
Scientology
Yeah.
for video games organization.
Oh my god, Beta 3 or whatever.
So every game you buy gets you a little up the tier ladder.
Yeah. Oh man, my tier would be up there.
Yeah.
Paul Hines says, if you play games, you're a gamer. With people in person, online, or by yourself. What about tabletop games? Just as social strategies, just as deep, if not deeper. If you watch on Twitch, you're a fan. Watching basketball doesn't make me a baller, it makes me a fan. Fandom is good for the hobby. Fandom can also be toxic for the hobby. That's an interesting thought. Because, we're talking about like the whole sports thing. If you
Mhm.
watch, if you watch it, are you a gamer or are you a fan?
Oh boy, good question.
That is a good question.
I don't know.
I guess ultimately you might. Yeah, I don't know. I ultimately don't care what you call yourself. If you watch
Right.
football, you want to call yourself a footballer. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
It's just like when
Yeah.
people try to make fun of like gender pronouns back in the day or whatever. Like, what if I identify as a helicopter? Which is like such an outdated joke now. But I'm like, that's fine. I'll call you a helicopter. I don't care.
I mean, yeah, me too. I'd be like,
Wait,
you're a helicopter then.
Whatever makes you happy, man. What do I care?
Right. Whatever makes you happy.
Exactly. Life is hard. If identifying as a helicopter did make you happy, why would I want to stop you?
Whatever brings you joy, let it.
Right.
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Stop trying to
Yes.
yuck everyone else's yum.
As long as you're not hurting anyone else or yourself.
Well, depends. You want to hurt a dictator? I'm on board.
Wow.
I'll back that play.
All right, Zach.
Sure. Jacob Gunderson writes, I did not spend my childhood afraid of what it meant to be a gamer to allow just anyone to be called as such. From being called names to being told my passion will amount to nothing, I still have issues with telling people what my hobby is, even if I am actively making friends. Despite that, there was no better joy than getting handed a controller and being able to understand that game no matter what it was. Watching the horrified faces of friends today warn me that this boss is super hard and me destroying it first try as if it was a scene from One Punch Man. Take it easy on friends because it's about having fun and not a show of power until your friends say, wow, you say you're good at this, and then all bets are off. We went from nerds in a basement playing in worlds no one knew to being some of the most recognizable characters in entertainment today. As gamers, this is a title which hold near and dear to us, and as time progresses and the industry slowly implodes on itself, when all the fanboys and girls are gone, only the gamers will still be playing.
Wow. That was well stated.
What an aggressive stance.
Yeah.
It is
I
aggressive.
don't even really have a comment on that. I think you just kind of summed it all up like quite well there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it.
Oh, really?
Personally.
Okay.
With the whole like not being, you're right, like it did suck being made fun of as a gamer, but I don't feel like that makes me want to like
No.
hold it down as like an honorific or something.
I see.
don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean,
Just
oh, go ahead.
it feels a little to me like the argument of like, well, I had to pay off my child or my student loans, why shouldn't you? Like, well, shouldn't it just makes their life easier? What do you care? Yeah, you suffered, why would you want others to suffer as well?
Right.
It just
Yeah.
feels a little I'm not trying
That's a weird mentality in general. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like people have that even like with their kids sometimes. It's
Right.
it's either like one end of the spectrum or the other. Like we want them to be as miserable as I was or a kid, or we want to do everything for them so they're going to grow up incapable of having any executive functioning skills and able to do anything on their own. There's no like middle ground, I feel like.
no one knows how to ride the middle. And I don't want Gundy to be mad at me. I just, we just have different opinions on this thing. That's all.
It's interesting.
Hey, what we did go from nerds in our basement to now being the face of entertainment. There's no question. It's the biggest entertainment. We went from, people being like, "Oh, you still play games?" to like, it's the biggest force. It's bigger than movies and music and TV combined. Now,
right? But there are still
Yeah.
people out there that are be like, "You still play video games?" Like,
yeah, because I don't think these people recognize that they are playing games. You know what I
again,
mean?
because they don't want to have that. Because they still look at it as a negative connotation. They don't want to be
Mhm.
called a gamer.
Right, even though they're playing Angry Birds every day or
Right.
Fortnite, they're like, "You still play video games?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
even my I had a couple of bosses. They actually met playing World of Warcraft, and they still like gave me so much crap because I talked about how like I like video games for the stories and the interactive art that they are, and they always made fun of me. They're like, "Nobody plays video games for stories. What are you talking about?"
Seriously?
Yeah, it was so weird. But they themselves, you would think, they're paying $15 a month to play a game. I think that makes you a gamer.
Well, yeah.
For doing it for 10 years, but they still kind of like look down on video games. It was really weird.
Yeah.
So
I
guess
do have
people are
I do have to add, I've never been bullied for being a gamer or for enjoying anything I've enjoyed, so I can't really comment on that aspect, but I mean,
gamer girls always get a pass. Am I right, Scott?
well, I'm sure
I know, right?
I'm sure people have thought things, they just have never said them to me. I've had other things said to me, but never about what I enjoy or whatever.
I mean, I've been in game lobbies with one female voice pipes up, and it gets pretty gnarly pretty quick.
Still haven't had that happen. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't been in a lobby in a long time, but I used to play, I forget which Call of Duty it was, with one of my friends that, moved to San Francisco, and I'd be in a lobby with him and other guys, and they would never say anything about there being a woman there.
Wow.
But still, even if someone said something to me, I wouldn't care. I'm like, let me enjoy what I enjoy. Just
right.
But I'm also not going to gatekeep. I'm not going to gatekeep anyone. I want people to be happy, and I don't want them to suffer. Even if I had been, picked on for it, I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't want them to suffer.
Well, that's also because you're a nice person, Alyssa.
Oh,
and nice people are becoming more and more of a rare breed these days.
Yes, yeah. The mentality of be better, not bitter does seem to be getting murdered.
Yeah.
No one agrees with that anymore, it feels like.
I agree. Well, we got one more comment left, and Alyssa, you're up. Should be a familiar name there.
So we have Sean Fuller, who writes, I don't consider myself a gamer. I am just an addict whose drug of choice is video games. The first step is denial. My mom would call me a gamer, though. We'd box if she wasn't so buff.
That's one horribly awkward comment.
Wow, I see what you did there.
I'll box your mom for you.
His mom is a very nice woman.
Is she as buff as we're hearing?
Yeah.
She could probably beat me up, yes.
Okay. She got like the Abby kind of musculature from The Last of Us.
I wouldn't say Abby is. I mean,
okay.
A lot of people could probably beat me up. So I'm just saying. I'm not very strong.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for all the comments, and thank you to Zack and Alyssa for joining that conversation. That was kind of enlightening. I thought it was really well. Next week's topic is still yet to be determined, so stay tuned to Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and our Discord server for next week's question. We love hearing from you guys and can't wait to get those responses. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. This episode was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zack, so good talking with you again, man. It's been way too long. Don't ever let that happen again. But before we get out of here, you got any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Yeah, so I read a bunch on vacation at my cabin in the woods, but I read some things here and there. But the point is, I want to recommend Lonesome Dove, which I've never read. Have you read that, Scott?
No, but wasn't it a TV show?
Yes, it was a TV miniseries. Yes, with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm reading the book. I can't speak to the miniseries. Never seen it. I didn't know about it until. I learned about the book first, and then learned there was a miniseries. But it is impeccably well written. Like there's like almost every page is something that I want to highlight and try to remember. And it's just remarkable. It's a Western about the cattle drivers are trying to drive some cattle up to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the way it's written is beautiful prose, and it kind of goes on these tangents sometimes with the way the characters are thinking, but it takes you right along for the ride. And like it's written so well, there's like 2.5 pages about how a sign got made and added to for the cattle ranch or for their Hat Creek Cattle Company, and it was just fascinating the entire time. Like it was just utterly riveting, and it's beautifully fleshed out characters, wonderful. I'm only 111 pages in out of 850 something.
Wow!
Okay.
And these are in its small font, small print size. No paragraph breaks. There aren't even chapter breaks. When it hits the next chapter, it just puts the number 2 on the page and then keeps going.
I've experienced that before.
Wow.
I've never seen that before. It's so it's a pretty intimidating read, but I've never been so entranced by, so far it's been like 2 nights I think has happened in these 100 pages, but it's just so the characters are so well realized that I can't stop thinking about it really. It's
is this because of Red Dead 2? Like you've just been on like a Western kick?
Yeah. I've always loved Westerns, but Red Dead has definitely brought it back to the forefront. Yeah. So 100%.
So were you a big Louis L'Amour reader?
I haven't experienced too much Louis L'Amour, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
I read a lot of the Trailsman books back in the day, which are a little saucy kind of Westerns, but yeah, I'm very excited to read this book though.
Very cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're back, man. Now that you're back, we can continue to not play online together. But
looking forward to it.
But I am off this week, so
Well,
I'll join you guys.
I know, but I can work around your schedule now. Like if you want to play, like after you get off work, or I don't know when. I don't even know when you play. Do you play after work or before work, or what do you do?
I generally play after, so I'm usually going to bed because we text when you're waking up. I usually go to bed like 5 or 6 in the morning my time.
Right. So are you playing
like,
before you go to bed?
Yeah.
So why don't I get up at like 3 in the morning sometime, and we could do some.
That sounds miserable for you,
dude. Dude, it gets me an early start. I'll have my coffee, my crappy coffee because you're not making it.
Sure. Of course.
We could play some. What's that game we're gonna? That beat 'em up game that we've been talking about playing.
Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown. Why don't we play some Dragon's Crown this week?
Alyssa, you want to play some Dragon's Crown with us?
Sure.
At 3:00 in the morning.
I will set an alarm for you guys just to play.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. If you guys want to, I'm game.
Let's do it.
Sounds awful for you guys though.
No, dude, because then I'm like up, and then like by the time you go, because you'll go to work at like what 5 in the morning, my time.
Who, me?
Yeah. Like what time would you have to? Huh?
Wait, I leave for work at I clock in at 5:30 your time.
5:30.
I have to leave for the bus at 4:30 your time.
Okay.
Roughly.
We'll figure it out. Let's talk about on text.
No, let's I will. People want to hear about this on the air. I'm sure.
I will totally get up at 3:00 in the morning to play some Dragon's Crown with the two of you. If that means we get to actually play some games together, because then I'm up. It'll take me a while to wake up, but once I'm up, then I can just after you go to bed, I can just go right back into my next gaming session.
Right. You know what I mean? It's your warm up is hanging out with me.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And we don't play. We've been on this show together for far too long to like not play together as often as we should. So
yeah, you mean like never?
Yeah, didn't we do like Squadrons like for a minute? Or no, it wasn't Squadrons. It was that. What was that multiplayer game that looked like Gears that we played for like seriously like one night and then never touched again? But anyway, moving on.
Remember. Outriders? No, it couldn't have been.
Outriders. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We played some Lemon Escape, didn't we? Or did we not? Did we never
did play some
together?
Lemon Escape, yeah, before you had your weird third shift schedule. But
yeah, I know. I played with Aaron Peterson with the Hollywood Outsider.
Yeah,
that's a good game.
It is a good game. Too bad.
Alyssa, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah,
I actually have a book recommendation as well, and it has a TV adaptation right now. Daisy Jones and the Six. I have not watched the TV show. I really enjoyed reading it. I've heard the audiobook is excellent too, by the way, but the entire book is in interview format, and it's interviewing the members of the band Daisy Jones and the Six. And you also get insight from producers and managers and critics. But it's just really fascinating to see how they all came together to form the band and how they rose to fame and quickly fell. The struggles they all go through. It's just really well written, and it kind of reminded me of being a kid and watching, like the VH1 Behind the Music specials, like my parents used to have those on TV. It just kind of reminded me of that, and it was just really interesting. I don't know how it'd be as a TV show with how it's formatted, but as a book, it was really, really interesting. And if you're into, the music scene, I think you'd be interested in it as well. It does take place in the 70s, and it is influenced kind of by Fleetwood Mac and bands of that nature, but I really enjoyed it.
Very cool.
I've never even heard of this band.
I haven't.
Oh,
it's
a
real
fictional
band?
No, it's a fictional band.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That explains that.
Well, speaking of bands, I have a recommendation. So last night, I had a school dance that I DJ'd, and while I was there, my our good buddy Kevin texted me and said that he was in a local town seeing a band and want to know if I want to come. And I said, well, dude, I'm doing this show. I could swing by maybe after, but I won't get there till like 11:15 or something. And he's like, just come on out. So after I got done, I went to this bar to see this band. And by the time I got there, all the opening acts had already played, and the headliner was in the middle of their set. So all I got to see in person was the headliner. But on the way home, I went and pulled up on Amazon Music and listened to all of the other bands just to see what they all sounded like, because I just
so you could have a concert experience.
Well, I just want to hear what the other musicians sound like, and I gotta say, the band that played very first that night, like the first band that played, which usually it goes in quality, like leading up, it goes higher in quality as you go, but The one that impressed me from their studio recording more than even what I saw live at this show was a band that goes by the name of Would You Kindly, which,
Oh.
as you would imagine, is actually a BioShock reference, because I actually talked to the lead singer after the band. It was
Is there a big single called "Sweat of Your Brow"?
No, actually, none of their music has anything to do with video games. They just named the band Would You Kindly because they're a bunch of nerds. They are very nerdy, super nice people, but I listened to their music, and it's a female lead singer that just has a really incredible voice, but they also incorporate some like violins with the full band. And it's just, the music is very diverse, and she calls it femme rock. I didn't know what that meant. I don't really know what femme rock means, but I thought it was really good stuff. And seriously, check them out. I really regret that I missed that show, because I dug that more than anything else that I saw at the show or that I listened to the other bands. So Would You Kindly is actually a band, and I would highly recommend checking it out. And there you have it. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to The Gaming Outsider. We do appreciate it. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.